Right, team, I'm going to be going over how I set myself up for the day. Now, there's two parts of the puzzle that we need to consider here. One is the athletic side of things, and there's also the professional side of things that I'm going to need my brain. Me today, currently right now, I've got work in the morning and I'm training this afternoon. So I'm going to rely mainly on a protein and fat-based breakfast. Obviously, sourdough toast. Don't be that guy that says you don't have toast, or lady. That, and obviously getting some fruit and veg in. By vice versa, if I was to be training this morning, I'll be shifting that from a fat and high protein diet to a high protein, high carbohydrate. Now, what I personally do, and what people that inside the program we should be thinking about here, is there's two pieces of that puzzle. There's convenience and speed, but there's also you actually enjoying your meal. So protein oats are very simple. Oats, 2 scoops of protein. Buy something that is, I personally like grass-fed stuff just because it's a lot easier in your gut and it's a lot easier to absorb. That berries are high in antioxidants and high in micronutrition. Obviously, these are like the goat. If you can have some raspberries as well, if that, and some seeds. I use chia seeds and I just use a normal seed mix for that. Either have that in a bowl, weighing it on my scale. To be honest, me personally, this is a cheat code, is I just use a cup measure because then I don't need to weigh it. Vice versa, you can weigh it out. If you are tracking your food, it's the easiest way of doing it, but if you have a cup measure, it's the same every day, so weigh it once. Or if you're needing speed and you are on the move, blend it and drink it. It's called the MVP inside our program. That is very simple. So now, actually, today what I'm going to be doing instead is, now because I've got more work and thinking-based activity over the first course of the day, reason why I don't have high carbohydrate and I prefer to start my day with fat is because it stabilizes my blood sugar. It means that I'm not going to have this ramp of energy that I'm going to need to use. I can actually be more focused, dialed in through using fat and protein, and it means I'm not going to have this sort of energy dump at 10 or 11 a.m. Me personally, a lot of the people that I work with, most people struggle with getting protein in. This has been around forever and people still struggle. The reason why I have something so big in the morning is I have to have 250 grams of protein a day. This is about 60 grams of protein in total over this. So what I have steak mince, lean steak mince. I have 3 eggs. Again, some people will say free-range organic. The better. Yeah, that's what I would say. If you can, like I said, lean mince, not your 20/80 stuff. I have 5% beef mince. Good sourdough. And then I also have a veg with everything that I have. So spinach, you should be having greens every single day. It's anti-inflammation, it's anti-cancerous, and it's just great for your digestive health. I have mushrooms just because mushrooms are the GOAT. But also, if you are deficient in vitamin D, they're high in vitamin D. And also, I have tomatoes. It's great for your bloodstream. And just, again, trying to get as much as you can in over that period. Now, what most people do when it comes down to cooking is what they cook it in. I've got a hex-clad pan over there, which I'll be using. I cook mainly in extra virgin coconut oil. Reason why is it doesn't burn. If you use olive oil, it can be carcinogenic and it smokes. I need to actually weigh that. From a perspective of also, this is really high in monounsaturated fat, which is really good for your brain, helps you stabilize. So using this, I can then measure it. Again, I use a tablespoon every single day, but just so I've got a number. From that, if you are using a hex-clad plan, just to make just a little go-to tip that most people don't actually know, is because they conduct so much heat so quickly, if you have this on a raging heat, you're going to burn absolutely everything. So what you don't want to do is absolutely melt it. Then the reason why I start my day with this, people ask me, do I fast? If I'm in a calorie deficit, I do. I have my breakfast between 9 and 10 a.m. because I get up at 5 with my kid. So whatever you deem fasting is. Again, do you have to? No, but this is how I'm setting up my day. So it's super easy. I just lob it all in one pan. No Ainsley Harriott job here, but just get it in very much so. I like to start my day with eggs, personally. I think I've had eggs every single day for the last 10 years. Eggs are high in choline, high in all sorts of other vitamins and minerals, but they are probably the most versatile thing you can have from a position of, as I say, getting protein in and also healthy fats. People are scared of eggs from a cholesterol standpoint. Your body regulates cholesterol. So studies have shown that eggs are actually, don't worry, as long as you're not having like 30 eggs, they're not a problem. But these are a staple for me, and obviously I've cracked one. Useless. Obviously, the ambition is not to crack an egg because you can't have that on your toast, can you? So anyway, let that fry off a bit, and then I will flip the mince. So obviously you don't want raw food. From there, now if you do this, I'm obviously doing this from a position of I have got time. When I am super busy, and I am working in early hours in the morning. People that know what I do, I work across multiple time zones: Singapore, Australia, and it's really early. They're up. Sometimes I have early calls. I'll actually fast in that period. I like the process of cooking. So if I can cook, I'd rather wait and cook than not. Now, does that mean I do it all the time? No. What that means is actually I do it when it's convenient, or I'll batch cook stuff. So, an example, you could you could have any meat you want: chicken, steak, salmon's obviously a great one. I love smoked salmon, but personally, I'd rather someone sets their day up. Now, what most business professionals do is a lot of people will say, "I'm burning more calories when I'm fasted." That technically is right, but remember, energy balance is affected across the day. If most business professionals, one, don't get their protein in because what they're trying to do is they're trying to bank. They think they're banking it. Two, they turn up and they run off caffeine, and that's usually the reason why their physiology isn't working alongside them, is because they're fueling their body just with a stimulant rather than with actual food. If you again, having something like this will stabilize your blood sugar. It will mean that you're fueled and ready to be optimal. And when we talk about energy availability, we don't talk around this as a position of perfection and just consistent restriction. What we're trying to do here is not only start your day as you mean to go on, but give you the gas to do so. I also deal with people who are more endurance-based. So a few of you guys and ladies will be doing Ironman and that kind of thing. Would I be using this? I'd probably still have eggs on toast and then have more carbohydrate dominant foods because your carbs are way higher. Me right now, I'm just doing jiu-jitsu. So I'm basically fighting. And in that respect, that means that I don't actually need, I need carbs, but I don't need anywhere near as much carbohydrates as I did when I did an Ironman. So just to be clear, as mentioned, this is real world nutrition, and I appreciate this is not going to a restaurant, so it looks like it's been smashed. Because my eggs are broke, but that's just because they're old. So that 2 slices of toast. Again, if you are buying bread, again, depending on your nutrition platform, I strongly recommend right now is for you to spend a little bit more money on good bread. Why? So many people come to me and they say they get bloated because they're having, when they eat bread or wheat or whatever. If you put them on something quality, usually they actually suddenly don't. And then they think you've just done some voodoo. It's not. It's because you're just not eating processed shite. And usually bread like Jason's a goat, isn't it? The ciabatta one's better though, just to be clear. That's definitely a different ballgame. So again, for me, is just from a toast perspective. When I said to you before about knowing what you measure, do I measure butter? You should. If I'm on a big cut, I do. But being brutally honest, like I have the same thing every single day. So in my fitness pal, what I do in my fitness pal is I've made this as a meal. I can show you that afterwards. Yeah, I can just show you this now. So when I go into my fitness pal and I go add food, I go to my meals, and I've set my meals up. So now if you're looking for speed, I track this. I have the same thing every single day. Most people, and I'd say breakfast mince, so all of this is in here, bosh. And that then, we'll have the, 1 second, I'll put this in here. There's one thing, yeah, bosh. So now you've got that all loaded in there, okay? Now what most people do is they give themselves too much choice, and they're too busy searching for something perfect or whatever. You haven't got time for perfect. When you're this busy and you've got shit to do, you should be searching for practical things that you know that work. And also, especially a lot of you that are busy, is so busy that your decision making is making this simple. I have 2 things. I either have this or I have that for breakfast. I don't really look for anything else. If I go away with my missus, very different, but generally speaking on a day-to-day basis. Also, gotta have Marmite. Got to be that guy. And yes, you can judge me. We've got daddies in. This is not the best. Stokes is the best, or HP, but that'll do. I'm a brown sauce fan. I didn't used to be. So that's what I have for breakfast today. I'll be heading in. Load of work. We're doing lots of media today. And then later on, when I go to the gym, that's when I'm going to wrap my carbohydrate up. Now, just to be clear, if you are training in the morning, bookend your sessions if you want to. Carbs pre, carbs post. I don't usually say you can have eggs afterwards, obviously, but optimally what you want to try and do is keep your high protein, high fat away from your training, and your higher protein, higher carb, lower fat around your training. So anyway, I hope it's helpful. Any questions, do let me know.